All right, Rick, we're digging down into some out-of-home questions here. We've had a lot of them, and I've got one that, people in New York might understand a little bit more, maybe Chicago, maybe Los Angeles, but really honestly, maybe in a lot of places around the world. Let's talk about advertising in transportation hubs. Give us the skinny on that because there's a lot to unpack with that.
Sure. Well, what you'll see is out of home at any public intercept point driven by transport. So that's train stations, airports, even malls in some way, city centers. And in usually every case, the inventory that goes up is a result of a partnership with the city or the transportation authority or whatever group it might be that owns that property. And the type of inventory that's coming in there is mostly digital now. It's very responsive, it's very immediate. And those screens are becoming the source of truth for more than just advertising, for this mix of public information and commerce.
I love that. And that part of the business just keeps growing and growing and growing. And I strongly encourage you, as you can see, 15withrick.com. Go ahead and get to that URL, get 15 minutes with Rick, learn more about this particular topic and a myriad, or is it myriad topics? I don't know what the proper grammar is on that, but seriously, 15 minutes with Rick, you're going to learn a ton about PJX Media, but you're also going to learn a ton about out of home, most importantly. Rick, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your support of Indie Agency News.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for your support of Indie Agency News. Let's meet an Indie Agency, and let's go to Seattle. And I'm not doing this because, and also let me just double check here. If I mirror my camera, I'm afraid I'm going to show it backwards. So there you go. That's good tech right there. And that's what we call professional broadcasting. Jordan and Rachel.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
yes. For those who don't know, I am based in Portland. Also affectionately known as the city that Seattle likes to pat on top of the head and go, oh, how cute. But the Pacific Northwest is a thing. And Jordan and Rachel are the co-founders. Rachel just made herself a founder. So I'm going to change that right away too. Oh, look at her. I want all the marbles. Look at that. I love it. Foul mouth creative, but the acronym, because we are in advertising, we need an acronym. So it's FOMO creative. So it's got a little bit of a double meaning.
There you go.
Yeah. So you founded, freshly founded. So walk us through that whole shtick, because that was something.
It was something, man. So yeah, we are super fresh. We're a baby agency with massive aspirations here in Seattle. But Jordan and I worked together years ago at Mechanism, and there was just a happenstance of synchronicity that allowed both of us to want to jump in and do our own thing a few months ago. Jordan, when did we start? Was it March?
We officially debuted in April.
April.
Okay, so
there we go. I think we started talking March, and then we got all the things up. The thing, we pulled an agency together, I think, pretty fast, to be honest.
And up like a carny ride. Yeah,
exactly. And it's been great, man. We're figuring it out. We're doing it, and Seattle is prime for a hot new creative strategic shop, and we're the ones. We're in it.
Yeah, Jordan, anything to add on that?
We're women owned, which is a rarity in the industry with, less than 1% of women being in positions of ownership for the industry. So, I don't think that necessarily is the thing that we hang our hat on, but it's something that we're really proud of. So
Right. And, the thing is that, you're getting your sea legs, no pun intended again with the Seattle reference there. But, where I want to go with this is, I ask agencies what they're best known for. And so I think in this case, since you are still getting out of the gate, I'd like both of you to talk about maybe a couple of your past stops and some of the work that you've done that people may recognize or work that you're really proud of.
Sure. I'll start it, Jordan, then kick it to you. So I got my start at Crispin Porter Bogusky in Los Angeles, went over to Deutsch from there, both amazing shops that were so foundational to every approach I take even now. And from there, did some freelancing, and then was brought on as the head of creative for the Seattle office at Mechanism with Jordan as my account better half. And Jordan and I together did a bunch of work for a number of clients, but Alaska Airlines was one of our big ones.
Fantastic work.
Yeah, the safety dance for them during COVID. Another client of mine at the time was Frida Baby. And that project was probably the most personal project I've ever done in advertising. It was launching their breast care product line. And I had just come back from having baby number 2, horrible breastfeeding experience. I was like, all right, I know how to write this. I know how to write this spot. So I got it done. And it was this very personal look at what it actually means to breastfeed and the ups and downs of new parenthood. And so the claim to fame from that is we got the first lactating nipple on network TV. Yes.
Okay.
That's going on my career like gravestone when it's all done.
I mean, why not?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was great, and it was stream of lactation, and that had a pretty good splash a year or so ago. And then went over to a little production company based here in Seattle and got some chops, being a little bit more on that hands-on maker side, understanding what it is to be a smaller shop versus the much bigger shops that I had done before, which was foundational to us starting Foulmouth, just from understanding what it means to be a little bit more in that owner space and how to pull it together. So that's
okay. Jordan, top that.
I started my career in Chicago just after the last recession. Kind of got into advertising by accident. Worked at a couple of smaller agencies, some of which don't exist anymore, before finding myself at O'Keefe, Bernhardt and Paul for
OKRP,
Chicago. Great group of guys. Just loved them, loved learning from them. They really kind of shaped my approach to the work and my attitude on this industry. But when I was there, I got to work on a couple of brands that were very near and dear to my heart, Ace Hardware being one of them. We did a jingle campaign that involved retailers across the country. So it was just a whole road show, ton of fun to pull together, and it worked super well for the brand. And then Chili's was one of my brands back then too. So we led the kind of brand turnaround effort for Chili's in like the 2017, 2018 era, and just had a ton of fun doing that. And then at that point, my husband and I, born and raised in the Midwest, we just had to get the heck out. So I found my role at Mechanism, leading the Alaska Airlines business out of the Seattle office. And so we hightailed it out of here and haven't looked back once. Been here for almost 5 years now and just love it to death. And I was at Mech for about 4 years, ran, like Rachel mentioned, the Alaska Airlines business. I think my favorite project that I worked on for Alaska was the Swell Deals campaign, which was the promotion powered by the data of ocean waves. Won a Webby for that, which was such a good one. Complicated as fuck to figure out how to actually pull that off, but like conceptually so beautiful and simple as the best work is. Loved that one. And then I also I ran the Sling TV account and Weber account, which was another very near and dear one to my heart. We did their first ever US brand campaign, which propelled the company to go public later that year. So it was their best sales year on record. And
Weber Grills.
Weber Grills. Yeah. Great bunch of people.
I've got one.
I've got a couple. Yeah. I'm a big fan.
I'm sure you do. Let's talk about being an indie. Why is it so important to both of you to be an independent?
I think the reason we even started Foulmouth is that we spent a couple decades under the umbrellas of whether it was for myself working at holding company agencies or larger agencies where we didn't have necessarily the influence to change things in the way that we saw maybe would be beneficial across the board for the for work-life balance, whatever it is. So indie agency is where it's at. And it makes stronger collaborations with your client partners, because a client that's going to an indie agency has a little bit of a different mindset than somebody that might be, a Procter and Gamble or whatever other large corporations that want to go holding company. Not to say that great work can't come out of that. But there's just a little bit more of this adventurous spirit too. And it seems to be shared across our client partners at the same time of, hey man, let's just like see what we can get away with, see what's going to be strategically sound and smart, but it's that creative, adventurous spirit. Indie's great. Obviously owning this, not going back to a holding company agency, but it's a good spot to be in. It's a very good spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing is that, as an independent creative shop, we're not beholden to the numbers, which gives us the flexibility to take some risks with our business to, really kind of, whether it's tackling a smaller project or cutting our margins to, hit a budget that is for a project that we're really excited about, that's going to yield some really great work. Like, we love being able to kind of control our own destiny, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I love that. You touched on a couple of, and this is always very interesting to me, and Rachel, you had brought this up, and you both have known me long enough and well enough to know that I am a proponent of vibe. I love vibe. Vibe is the thing. Yeah. And you touched a little bit on this about marketers and clients. And you touched a little bit on this, and I love the idea of a little bit more of an adventurous spirit. And I think we've all come across CMOs of all stripes, but those that are a little bit more adventurous they're a kick. But give me a couple more reasons why a brand should work with you. Obviously, you have the pedigree, you have the background, you have the chops. But what's maybe one more thing that a brand should look at you and go, yeah, I want to work with them?
Well, at our core, what we do as marketers and in advertising is to motivate somebody to do something, change a mindset, change a purchasing habit, do something, right? Something or further another purchase, whatever that might be. And the ability to figure out what that really means, how that motivation can appear, is always rooted in emotion and culture. And so the ability to take that, work with a CMO who also is like-minded. You can't just shout out product features, product benefits, and expect that to elicit any sort of response with somebody. It's all about brand building. And we want to be able to be culture amplifiers and impact it at the same time. Mm-hmm. There is something amazing that happens when you find that brand partner. And then also our creative village is really strong, right? Like we are good at what we do. And then we partner with people that can help amplify our projects and are the experts in that areas as well, which is another super strength of indie agencies, because it's not by design a one-stop shop. We want to be able to flex and grow for the right partnerships there. But when you find that CMO or that marketing brand partner that has this shared understanding that you're talking to people, and people are weird and messy and complex, and it's not tidy. It's not a demographic that you can just like check the boxes down. Go for it. Don't over engineer something. Let's go. Maybe the creative is going to be imperfect, but that's great. That's a great spot, because it starts building a little bit more trust in the squeaky clean AI generated world of whatever. The imperfections are actually the strongest part
Mhm.
of understanding how to communicate and motivate people and align yourselves with your groups that you're wanting to talk to. And the brands that we work with are on smaller budgets, right? They're not going to be the ones that have the $2 million campaigns for a summer launch or whatever that is. And so to make the most of these smaller budgets, you have to know that you got to go out there and you can't hold back, right? It's riskier to have your thing go out in the world, blow whatever quarterly budget you have, and have nobody give a shit about it, or like have it not do anything. That's a waste of money. That's an absolute waste of money. And so what being small and being indie allows us to do is find the partners that have that same mindset. And there's a lot of different fits for a lot of different businesses and agencies and whatever, but it's finding those fits and the understanding that imperfections are awesome, and the messy side is the dope shit that you want to talk about, storytell that way and brand build around it. That's the cool stuff.
Weird, messy, and complex. Probably a good title for the three of us here today. Jordan, anything to add to that?
I think just to build on what Rachel says, like the core of what we do is really about understanding what makes people tick and being able to craft stories, whether it's verbal or visual, to show them that the brand that we're working with understands and has that shared value or outlook on the world. And so I think, I don't know that that's anything, new or different or anything that like another agency isn't doing in a different way, but kind of across the board in all the work that we do, we put people first, we put humanity first. And that applies to the business relationships we have with our brand partners, how we treat each other internally, and then of course, like the creative village that we've very kind of carefully curated around us. It's all about people first, and that is really like a direct reaction or a direct attempt at trying to change something that we think is due for change in this industry.
Right. Rachel, Jordan said curate. I don't know. How much is that? How much corporate speak words? Is it $5 per word? Is that what you and I agreed on? Put it in the jar? Corporate jar? Okay. No, I'm teasing. Because there's truth to it too. And I use that word too. So never mind. Let's talk about talent. And specifically, I think we need to extrapolate it a little bit because you had mentioned the idea of flexing.
Yeah.
And so staff wise, you will flex with FTEs, but also with other talent out there. So I'm using the word talent a little bit more broadly. Why should talent put this agency on their list?
Oh man, give me a second because I'm about to. There's
there's a schwitz. There's something.
Fetching.
Warts and all.
Yeah. We're not cutting this.
Jordan just mentioned it. One of the things that we prioritize is that humanity. And when it comes to fostering a creative environment, we go for the whole thing, man. Like who we are is who we are. And we expect that from our partners. We look for partners who are unapologetic in showing up fully, and the good, bad, the messy. Messy seems to be a buzzword of this call right now. But when you put limitations on what people, how they should speak, what they should show up as, what their creative looks like, and you're not going to get to the good stuff. You have to create an environment where failure is not just accepted, but expected. And the difference that looks like is compared to like, hey, this is a very, you got to do this way, X, Y, and Z. We expect this. And also like, ooh, that's a bad idea. Let's not feel. You're going to hold back. And the partners we work with, whether it's our amazing freelance partners that we bring in, both creative and also on the brand management side, the production side, all of that. Or whether it's the production companies that we work with, we curate, as you will.
Yeah.
There we go. Doubling down on that. a crew that feels like people we could hang out with at any point in our life. And that also extends to our brand partners with it too. It's a good vibe, man. I mean, and it's checking out too. Like the work is great. The relationships are awesome. We have so many different group text things of just X, Y, and Z going on all the time. Like fun stuff when you're working with people that you consider friends.
Yep.
It's the best. It's absolutely the best thing through and through. You know, I mean, even with our client partners too, we'll get on the phone, just chat for an hour, just check in, nothing about work, just how are you doing?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
great.
Yeah.
It makes it so much fun. And then make plans of like, oh man, let's meet up in XYZ city and do whatever. Like, yeah, okay, we'll talk business for a hot second, but then we get to go and actually hang out with each other. And it's exciting. It's fun. Why would you not want that? Their advertising's fun as shit. We're like, everybody in this industry is weird and
we're weird,
brilliant and just a mess in so many great ways. And like,
speak for yourself on the brilliant part.
well, there you go. You know, I mean, we all think we're brilliant. I think maybe that's the
I think it's the opposite.
Bling insecurities. There we go. That's more the scene. Why would you not want to do that? That's the best part of it. And then sometimes you get to make great work. And like the other side is sometimes you make awful work or work that you don't want to PR or work that whatever. So what gets you through the other stuff is like, make sure that your day-to-days and the people you surround yourself with and the partnerships you surround yourself with are phenomenal and fun. You know, that's, I don't know.
I'm with it.
For it.
I'm with it. Jordan, I don't know if you can really add anything to that. I mean, are you just going to say cosign? Okay, good.
I cosign that for sure.
Okay, because then I'm going to start with you on our little thought experiment.
Let's go.
A little thought experiment question at the end here. And this is our last question. Which CMO or marketer would you like to say hi to? Whether that's an existing client or it's like, you know, I think we all read the secret. No, you know, putting it out into the universe. She was Australian, right? And that was a terrible Australian accent. So, all right. So who do you want to say hi to?
I'm going to give you two names. This was my old brand partner crew at Weber. One is still there. One is no longer. So the first shout out goes to Kyle Schlegel. He's the VP of marketing for the Americas business. So the biggest piece of the Weber business. Just the greatest guy I've ever worked with. So smart, so kind, just great creative instincts, amazing strategic instincts, and just a delight of a human overall. And then his sidekick over there was my pal Julia Reardon, who now runs brand marketing for Culligan.
The water people.
Yeah. Just my two favorite client partners of all time. They were just the best. We had a hoot.
Yep. Rachel.
Ooh, okay. I think this one, I want to say hi to Candace Escolio. She was an amazing partner. She was the VP of performance marketing that we worked with at GameStop. And Candace embodies the let's put trust in each other and see what we can get away with. We made some work that I still can't believe made it out into the world, especially for a company like GameStop. But because it was strategic and super backed, and it outperformed like every campaign that they've done, which is amazing. And so, no, Candace was amazing. Without her, she took some risks. She really put her neck out for the creative internally. And that's a partner that, man, it's worth its weight in gold, 100%.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Well, this has been great. I'm sure I'll see you in Seattle. You'll see me in Portland. We'll see I mean, it's a Pacific Northwest party. And so can we agree though, that this is the best Nike City Connect? I mean, they just smashed it. Just absolutely smashed it. I got into a discussion about the South Side stuff from the Chicago White Sox. So, so were you South Side or are you North?
I'm North Sider.
Okay, so Cubs fan.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Cubs fan.
Okay. God bless you. So there you go. And yeah. So, but no, this is, I honestly, I think this is one of the best things that Nike has ever done. Like just going through the story of how they envision this. It's the same thing with the Seahawks, like the Seattle stuff that Nike redesigned. Sorry, this is turning into a different conversation. Like the Seattle stuff has these really interesting narratives. Not that the other stuff doesn't, but or a lot of the other stuff doesn't. But the Seattle stuff in particular has like a different just heat to it.
Yep.
So, but this is one of the best I've ever seen. So
It's so good.
yes. Now we just got to hope that the Mariners actually make the playoffs. All right.
Keep on hoping.
Yes. Right. Jordan, Rachel, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.
And best wishes for continued success. And like I said earlier, we'll see you later.
Thank you so much for having us.